Brian is spending $53,724 per year to live in his house. That is his mortgage, utilities, taxes, insurance, HOA, and basic services. It does not include maintenance, furniture, or landscaping. If Brian had bought the 1,600 square foot house for $275,000 instead, roughly the median home price in his area for a smaller, older home, his annual cost would look completely different. Mortgage on $275,000 at the same interest rate, $1,600 per month, $19,200 per year. Utilities on a smaller house, $350 per month, $4,200 per year. Property tax on lower assessment, $3,600 per year, $300 per month. Insurance on lower value, $1,400 per year, $117 per month. No HOA because older neighborhoods don't have them, $0. Water and trash on a smaller house, $90 per month, $1,080 per year. Total annual cost, $30,680. Brian is spending $53,724 on the McMansion. The smaller house would cost $30,680. The difference is $23,044 per year. That is $23,044 that Brian could save, invest, or use to actually enjoy his life, instead of funneling into a house that is too big. Over 5 years, the difference is $115,220. Brian gave up $115,000 in potential wealth to live in a house with rooms he never enters and utility bills that make him nauseous every month. But the financial damage is not just about the annual cost, it's about what that cost prevents from you doing. Brian cannot save for retirement because the house consumes everything. He's 34 years old and has $6,200 in his 401k. He should have over $100,000 by now if he had been saving 15% of his income since he started working. He is not saving 15%. He is saving 2% because that's all he can afford after the house takes its cut. At his current savings rate, he will have approximately $280,000 in his 401k by age 65, assuming 7% average returns. That is not enough to retire on. He will work until he dies, or until he is forced out of the workforce by health issues, and then he will live in poverty. The house is not building wealth. The house is preventing wealth. And this assumes Brian never loses his job, never has a medical emergency, never faces any financial shock. If any of those things happen, he loses the house because he has no emergency fund. He is one layoff away from foreclosure because every dollar is already spoken for. A 2023 survey from Bankrate reported that 61% of homeowners with mortgages over $400,000 report having less than 3 months of expenses in emergency savings. 61%. They are all one bad event away from disaster, and they are stuck there because they bought houses they can't actually afford to live in. The furnishing cost is something most buyers completely ignore until they move in and realize the house looks empty. Brian bought a 3,200 square foot house. His old apartment was 900 square feet. He had furniture from 900 square feet. When he moved into the McMansion, his furniture disappeared into the space. The living room looked pathetic with his old couch. The dining room could seat 10, but he had a table for 4. The master bedroom had enough space for a sitting area he didn't have furniture for. He spent $18,000 furnishing the house to a level where it didn't look sad. $18,000 that he put on credit cards because he had drained his savings on the down payment and closing costs. He is now paying 19% interest on furniture debt. Over the 3 years it will take him to pay off that debt, he will pay an additional $5,100 in interest. He bought furniture he didn't need for rooms he doesn't use, went into debt to do it, and is now paying interest on the debt. The house demanded the spending. If he had bought the smaller house, his existing furniture would have been fine. He would have saved $18,000 plus $5,100 in interest, $23,100 that evaporated because the McMansion required filling 3,200 square feet.
The psychological trap is that the house feels like an achievement. Brian feels proud when people visit. He feels successful when he pulls into his driveway. He feels like he made it. Those feelings are expensive. They cost him $23,000 per year in operating costs compared to a smaller house, plus his entire financial future because he cannot save. And the house is not even nice. It is a McMansion. It was built by a developer who prioritized square footage over quality. The countertops are builder-grade laminate. The cabinets are particle board. The flooring is cheap vinyl. The exterior is vinyl siding. The appliances are the cheapest models that qualified as stainless steel. The house looks big. It is not built to last.
Within 10 years, Brian will need to replace the roof, the HVAC, the water heater, the flooring, and probably the windows. Those repairs will cost over $60,000. He will not have $60,000. He will either take out a home equity loan, more debt, or he will defer maintenance and the house will deteriorate. Either way, the McMansion is not an investment. It is a liability that grows more expensive every year.